And here we are finally. We had some minor common technical difficulties on the show, and the joys of doing live TV. So what can I say? I am your intrepid host, Dylan Farrell, and we've got a great show for you today. We have, all the way from Southern California, the Common Sense Czar himself, TJ O'Hara. TJ, are you there still? Hello?
I'm here, Jared. Jared?
Dylan. Close enough.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I've been called a lot of things.
Here, Dylan.
And so,
I'm here, Dylan.
And that's pretty mild, so it's all right. So how is Southern California today?
Absolutely postcard perfect.
Excellent. We're actually gearing up for some severe thunderstorms here in the glorious whole of Arkansas. So I'm glad to hear that someone's having a picture-perfect kind of day.
Well, we can never complain. I live in the San Diego area, and we're pretty much guaranteed something that the Chamber of Commerce appreciates on a daily basis.
Okay, so I guess we'll dive in. I tried really hard to watch the president's speech on his budget yesterday, and it worked better than like Nighthall or, I don't know, Ambien or something, because I just went right to sleep. Was there anything new from the president in his budget speech?
No, I think, you had the obligatory citing of Abraham Lincoln. You had the backhanded stabs at the Bushes by preferentially citing the first Bush and kind of ignoring the second and tying the first Bush with Bill Clinton. And, the common thread once he got into it was the we-they difference. And that's always fun when you're trying to accomplish bipartisanship. So I don't think there was a lot new. It was a good stump speech, but very little detail.
So you'd say it sounded more like a campaign speech than a policy speech?
Well, I think every speech that's been made over the last several years has been a campaign speech. Very, very few of the speeches have any type of significant detail in them. And that always makes it a challenge to move forward.
Well, it could be a good thing that he doesn't have a lot of detail, at least for him, because then he doesn't get bogged down in having to actually live up to any details.
Yeah, and I don't think he's in a league by himself. I think the majority of our traditional politicians are far more comfortable speaking in generalities than they are in speaking in specifics, which is why we find ourselves where we are. So, your title online is the Common Sense Czar. Yes.
Explain that.
Well, I was looking at the situation we had a couple of years ago, and we already had 32 czars at the time, and we had czars such as the Government Performance Czar. Now, if that isn't an oxymoron, I don't know what is. So I started going through the list of the 32 czars, and I realized we really didn't need any of them. The only one we really needed was a czar with common sense. And when I looked at the criteria for it, you don't have to run for election. You aren't vetted in any way, and you have unbridled discretion. I thought this is the perfect role for me. So I ordained myself the Common Sense Czar.
Well, I'm actually looking into a czar position. Except
Are you really?
The czar position I'm looking into is a little more unique. I'm looking into becoming the czar.
Well, there's always the potential for that.
See,
I like to think that just a czar with common sense is probably all we really need, but the fact that we've since gone up to 40 paid czars, maybe we need a czar to kind of keep them all in line.
Right, because, I mean, you got to have kind of a filter between the president and the czars, because all of these guys are coming up with... the only thing I can describe it as is some of the dumbest ideas in human history. And so What you need is someone there to smack them on the hand and go, no, you can't do that. No, that's stupid, go away.
Yeah,
no.
My approach was the more traditional one. I just eliminated all the other czars. So.
Well, I think Common Sense Czar would be the perfect single position if we could eliminate all the others. That would be the most common sense kind of thing. And, we're trying to find ways to cut money in the budget. Between 32 and 40 unvetted paid positions would probably be a good place to start.
Oh, I think that's an excellent place to start.
So, we had this kind of impasse over the budget over the last couple of weeks, and it might or might not have been fixed last weekend. What's your take on the deal that they came up with in the 11th hour?
Much ado about nothing, unfortunately. I don't think, I liken it to a phrase that my father used to use, spitting in the ocean. It's at least progress of some kind. I thought it was traditionally vetted between the parties of name-calling back and forth and entrenching themselves in issues that weren't where the real relevant focus should be. I did turnarounds in corporate environments from startups to Fortune 500 companies for 30 years, and I'm going to tell you, this wouldn't cut it in the business world. Going in and looking at a $14+ trillion debt and coming back and being pleased with a $38 billion cut, you're not making any impact at all. You're looking at a week's worth of interest. So to me it was ineffective. At least it was some movement forward, but it shows how mired we are in traditional politics.
Actually, the best quote I've heard about the deal was made by Judge Andrew Napolitano on Fox News. Mm-hmm. He was filling in for Glenn Beck the other day, and he said that the budget deal was a tale told by idiots, filled with sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Pretty accurate.
Whenever you can bring Shakespeare in and just bludgeon someone with it, it makes me happy about life. It makes me smile.
Yeah.
So, I cannot think of a better way to describe it, because $38 billion. I believe that on the current spending path, they borrow more than that in a day.
Oh, they absolutely do that.
So, and for the Republicans to be happy about it makes me unhappy. For the Democrats to refer to it as draconian and that it was somehow a big concession to let that go just makes my brain hurt. It's hard for me to understand the thinking. I have to live within a budget. I'm sure you have to live within a budget. Why can't we make Congress do that?
It's traditional politics at its worst, let's face it. I mean, it's all about electability and pandering to, categories of individuals that, in return for the vote. So it's just traditional politics. The same thing when you look, the bigger issue that's going to come up is the debt limit. And when you look at the debate around that, again, it's all lines are being drawn in the sand on political lines.